Good afternoon and welcome to our webinar, Add Pro to Your FM Career with the ProFM Credential. We'll begin our webinar content shortly, but before we do, I'd like to go over a few technical notes. First, this session will be recorded. Everyone in attendance will receive an email within 5 days with both a link to the recorded session and access to an electronic version of the slides. Second, this event will include a live question and answer session at the end. To submit questions throughout the session, please type them into the Q&A panel on the right-hand side of your screen, and be sure to send your questions to all panelists. We'll be answering as many questions as time permits. If we weren't able to get to your question or address your question today, we'll follow up with an email directly over the next few days. So what I'd like to do is introduce myself. My name is Randy Olson. I'm the VP of Business Development for the ProFM Credential Program. And I'm happy to announce also that we have Darrell with us today. Darrell's a good friend and has a BS in Electrical Engineering, holds the FMA and Certified Energy Manager credentials. He has over 22 years of engineering and facility management experience with General Motors. During that time, he also served as an adjunct professor at Eastern Michigan University for 3 years. Darrell was instrumental in creating the ProFM credentials. He served as part of our ProFM Credential Commission as well as a subject matter expert to help us develop the content for the ProFM. So, Darrell, welcome to the webinar today.
Very much.
And with that, yeah, welcome, Darrell. With that, I'd like to kind of give us a roadmap of where we're going. So what I'd like to do is start off with how the FM industry is changing, the knowledge and skills required of FMs today. Darrell will talk through the ProFM and the 24 things that every facility manager should know. We refer to that as our body of knowledge. He'll talk through the benefits to employers and professionals. We'll talk about how you can achieve and attain the ProFM credential and how you elevate your FM skills in 5 easy steps. And at the end, we'll talk about a special savings for attending the webinar today. In addition, field the questions that you may have. So I think everybody on the webinar today would agree that change is happening as fast as it possibly can. And I think if you look forward over the next 12 months, we would all agree that that change is not going to slow down. And that really, addresses kind of where facility management is today as well. And if you think about your own career and us folks as facility managers and how you got into that, you may have kind of happened across the career. You may have gotten here by accident. And now you're given more strategic responsibility, and your job has gotten more and more complex. And it's gotten complex for a number of different reasons. First of all, the advancement of technology is not also slowing down, and the advancement of smart buildings and the abundance of data that is accessible to the facility manager is growing and growing. In fact, Gartner predicts by the year 2020 that there will be over 2.4 billion connected devices connected to the Internet of Things, so IoT devices. So that's only going to increase, and the complexity and the amount of data associated with that is only going to increase. That data is both a blessing and a curse, right? So you can make great business decisions based on that, but you have to have the competency and skills necessary to do that. In addition, we're at a point in our lives where there's multiple generations in the workforce, and those multiple generations really have different needs and wants for what they need out of their workplace, and and how they interact with their workplace. Also, the first ISO standards for facility management, the ISO standard 41000 series, was just released just a little over a year ago. So being able to comply with that and be able to leverage those standards also is complex. So it's never been more important for a facility manager to be more collaborative, more innovative, and be able to communicate effectively across those multiple generations than it is today. We're going to talk about how you can address all that with the ProFM Credential program. In 2019, Building Operating Management magazine did a number of surveys, and I'd like to report a number of statistics from that survey. First of all, 84% of employers say there's a gap between FM skills and knowledge, and the knowledge required for their teams and what they currently possess. So there is a knowledge gap there. Next, 65% of employers have had difficulty finding FM job applicants with the right technical skills. And this leads right into the discussion around ProFM and how this can enhance and fill in the knowledge gaps for your employees. In that same survey, it was asked the employer's top skill and knowledge requirements needed today. And those 8 are listed here. Those are compliance and standards, communication, leadership skills, project management, environmental health and safety, contract management, emergency management, and technical services. And then 8 out of 10 FM professionals feel that they could use more FM knowledge, skills, and training for their current job. And then the last statistic that I'll share from that same 2019 Training Outlook survey by Building Operating Management magazine is that just over 55% of organizations have defined the knowledge and skills required of their FM teams. So there's a large chunk of those that have not, right? So when you're thinking about education and credentials and getting folks on the same platform, it's important to, given the complexity that we talked about in the job and the change that's required, both the technical skills and soft skills required of FMs today, is really to get folks on a global standard, global standard of knowledge and skills, and get them on a common and familiar platform, to bring a team's knowledge and skills to a common level. So get everybody at kind of the same place. Help professionals update and expand their technical knowledge and also their soft skills to increase their on-the-job performance, and then prepare individuals for management or their next career move. So with that, I would like to turn the stage over to Darrell. And Darrell, I'm going to pass control over to you, and Darrell's going to take us through the next part of the presentation. So Darrell, the stage is yours.
Well, thank you, Randy. First of all, I just want to say it's an honor and privilege to be here and to be a part of the commission that established the body of knowledge for the ProFM Credential. So the ProFM Credential delivers 24 things that we feel every FM should know. And it's divided up into several FM knowledge areas that we're going to discuss more in detail. But the ProFM or the credential defines the knowledge, skills, abilities, and behaviors required for FMs to be successful now and in the future. This success is dependent on not only what you know, but also how you apply it. And for more information, the link to the body of knowledge is attached. So, the first knowledge area is in operations and maintenance. As Randy said, I possess 22 years of experience in this area with General Motors Company. Within the credential, all of the services, process, workflows, and tools required to ensure that the built environment functions as it's designed and constructed. So within the operations and maintenance knowledge area, some of the topics that are discussed are technical services, occupant services, work management, utility management, as well as space management. And asset management is another area, and this involves the coordinated activity of an organization to realize value from its asset. Simply, an asset is an item, thing, or entity of potential or actual value to an organization. It can include a widely distributed portfolio of undeveloped land, facilities, and equipment. Some of the topics that are included are project management, strategic planning, and capital planning and construction. Risk management. The process of identifying, analyzing, and creating the risk that an organization faces. Risk is the possibility that an outcome will be different from what has been anticipated or planned for. So some of the topics that are include compliance and standards, issues surrounding environmental health and safety, security, and emergency management. And last but not least, business management. Facility managers are business managers. Managing the facility function as a business in its own right is a critical mindset for facility managers to adopt. When facility managers realize that results are what counts, they will hold themselves accountable for success. Some of the topics that are included are human resource management or human capital, leadership skills, the ability to manage finances, contract management, procurement, and real estate. So, in addition to those 4 key functional FM knowledge areas, there are some functional competencies that translate across the body of knowledge. We simply define a competency as a cluster of skills, knowledge, abilities, and personal traits that allows one to perform certain roles or tasks successfully at an advanced performance level. These competencies can be technical, managerial, cognitive, and interpersonal. Within this space, we will discuss communication, innovation, sustainability, quality, and collaboration. So what are the benefits for your organization, or why would one want to obtain the ProFM Credential? Well, first and foremost, it formalizes requirements. It allows one to understand, communicate, and plan for the skill sets you need and those defined by ISO 41000 and FBPTA. It allows your organization to evaluate potential candidates and current staff for training opportunities and advancement. It creates a training roadmap for the skills your team requires to fill gaps. With respect to communication, it creates a common language within and across your teams, and ultimately it's about results. With respect to performance, it gives your team the knowledge and tools to maximize not only the efficiency of your facilities, but the people that within them. And as a result of FM training and credentials, 75% of all employers have seen better job performance in their staff as a result of FM training and credentials. So why would I, as an FM professional, want to get this credential? The ProFM Credential can impact your career at any stage. If you're beginning a career as an FM, it'll allow you to build new FM skills, gain recognition with your employers, clients, and coworkers. If you're in the middle of your career and you're just looking for something to fill your knowledge and skill gaps, it'll also help you to build competencies, to implement business improvements, and it shows a commitment to leadership that you have a passion for continuously improving your career. And if you're at the end of your runway, it allows you to update and validate knowledge. It builds a competency to plan and implement strategic improvements, and it will allow you to identify knowledge and skill gaps in your staff. According to a Training Outlook survey in Building Operation Management magazine, 77% of FM professionals feel that they need more FM knowledge and skills to advance further in their profession and organization. So maybe you are a part of the 77%, but as a person that is actually pursuing the ProFM Credential and instrumental in the creation of his body of knowledge, I would recommend this to anyone at whatever level they are in their career to shore up their FM skill set. So with that, I am going to give the ball back to Randy as he continues on this portion of our presentation.
Very good, and thanks, Darrell. I appreciate that. I'd like to remind everyone to submit your questions in the Q&A panel on the screen, and we'll get to as many of those as we possibly can at the end. In addition, Darrell mentioned this earlier, but on the profmi.org site, there's a lot of really good, valuable information. We'll review that again at the end of the presentation, but I just want to make sure that if you got a pen and paper, write down profmi.org, and there's access to the body of knowledge there. There's access to a lot of other tips and tools available for you to learn more about the program. So, Darrell, thanks for that great overview, and we'll move forward with the next part of the presentation. What I'd like to do is talk to you about how you would go ahead and get the program. And it's really, broken down into 5 very simple steps of invest, assess, enhance, check, and earn. So in the program, everything you need to get the ProFM credential, to get the education, the training, and the credential is included in the ProFM credential program. So Darrell just talked through the 24 things that are addressed. This material then and this program then covers each one of those 24 things. And it's broken up into 5 modules. Those cross-functional competency areas are 1. And then 1 for each of the 4, each one of the 4 FM functional knowledge areas. Those materials are delivered in the reading materials. So those reading materials are delivered electronically or optionally with print as well. On top of those reading materials and in enhancement of those reading materials, you get access to a content management site, a website that provides interactive tools for you to walk through and really cement that knowledge gained in those reading materials and to move through the program. So it's things like a comprehensive glossary of terms. It's flip cards for study purposes. And then it's quiz questions and practice questions as you proceed through the materials to really help check your progress through the program. And then the third piece of this then, included all in this program, so it's delivered as an all-in-one program, are the online final assessments. And those assessments are broken into 2 parts. There's a knowledge exam, and there's 75 knowledge-based multiple-choice questions. The second piece then is taking that knowledge and applying it to real-world scenarios, so situational judgment-type questions. And there's 50 of those, which really helps you kind of assess not only what you know, but how you apply it. So you need to pass both of those assessments with 70% or better. And once you do, you're able to achieve the ProFM credential. If for some reason you're unsuccessful the first time, you can try this. You can try those assessments multiple times. Now, this program is set up such that it's consumable in bite-sized chunks. So there's a lot of things to cover here. There's a number of topics, but it's really consumable and really logical to walk through the program. And the combination of the reading materials, the online tools, really help guide you through and make you successful in the program. So you gain that education, you gain that knowledge, and then you're assessed on it. So there's multiple ways to get this then from a delivery standpoint based on how you best learn. And what I mean by that is if you're an individual and you are very disciplined and you're able to go through this on your own in a self-paced fashion, and you're able to use the tools in the program and build a schedule, it's a very convenient way to do it. So you can really access the program anywhere from any device, so it's mobile optimized for your mobile devices. And then, systematically go through those reading materials, use the online study tools, and prepare yourself for the final assessments. So the self-study program is a very flexible way to go ahead and get the ProFM credential. Second is you could take an instructor-led course. So folks that are experienced in instructing FM education and the ProFM will deliver this, typically at college and university partners, or outside the U.S. at our training partners, outside of North America. When you take an instructor-led course, you have access to all the experience of the instructor, but you also have access to all the other folks in the room and all the other experience they have, and it's a great opportunity to network. So if you're best learning in a classroom environment and go through this in a classroom, whether that be live in the classroom or online, the instructor-led option is great for you. You can find a listing of those courses on our website. And then last, if you're a corporate or group environment and you want to get everybody on a common language and skills, you could go through this. You could go through the program. There's benefits to that from a financial standpoint in that you get volume pricing on groups of 2 or more. But in addition, then you could go through as a study group or bring a ProFM qualified instructor in to teach this customized at your site. So there's multiple ways to get the ProFM based on the best way in which you learn. So moving on, what I'd like to do, we'd like to offer you an excellent offer today of $300 off on the ProFM Credential program for attending our webinar today. In terms of pricing, the way the ProFM is priced is if you purchase the program and it's the online-only version, so you don't want the optional print, the list price of that is $16.95, so the webinar price would be $13.95. And if you want the optional print, the retail price is $17.45. For attending the webinar, it would be $14.45. Now, keep in mind that everything I've talked about, the reading materials, the online interactive tools, and the final assessments and multiple attempts at those final assessments are all included in that price. So there's no additional fee to a testing center to go ahead and take the program. So if you, again, if you have 2 or more and you'd like to come together and do this as a group, there's a contact here. Beth Foshing is your contact for going ahead and doing that. And then you can order that online at profmi.org. With that, I'd like to wrap up the content part here and talk about tools that are available on profmi.org. So there's an excellent tool out there called Map Your Gap. So throughout the presentation, we've talked about knowledge and skill gaps that facility managers may have, and this tool will help you compare your current knowledge and skills to the ProFM body of knowledge. And it'll tell you where you have gaps and where you'd want to focus your study time within the ProFM. In addition, to that Map Your Gap tool, which is an excellent tool for evaluating, the fit of ProFM for you. There's a free tips and tools section, and in that you've got access to that body of knowledge that Darrell was able to walk through. There's a reading material sample. There's a white paper there. There's a sample quiz questions out there. I believe there's 10 of those questions available to you that you can kind of see how you line up right away out the gate, but there's a lot of good, excellent tools. Then if you want to order the program, you can order that online and, go ahead and order that program, get through it, and become a ProFM. And I believe with that, we would like to now open this up to questions. And we've gotten a number of questions. So the first question that I've received is around prerequisites into the program. So are there prerequisites to earning the ProFM? So there are no mandatory prerequisites to get into this, but it's beneficial for folks that take the ProFM to have basic knowledge of facility management. If you got a related FM credential, you definitely got a leg up. But if you got work experience or some basic knowledge of FM, that would be a good place to go ahead and get started. I do have I'm getting a number of questions about how does ProFM compare to IFMA credentials, so specifically the FMP. So, and then I also got one about CFM. So that's a great question. Happy to address that. So first of all, the FMP really addresses kind of 4 knowledge areas. So it's pretty narrow in nature in those 4 knowledge areas. The ProFM, of course, covers, more broadly the 24 things that a facility manager needs to know. So the difference there is the kind of the breadth or the breadth of the program. Second, the ProFM has a 3-year term of validity. I believe the FMP is a lifetime credential, so you've got to kind of stay current on knowledge and skills throughout that 3-year period of time, and make sure you're current on everything out there. As it relates to the CFM, CFM covers more broadly, tests you more broadly on facility management competencies. But it's really a measurement. It's a point in time. So at that point in time, if you qualify and have enough experience and education, you can go ahead and sit for that exam and take that exam. There's not a required course to go through to prepare for that exam, but if you are able to do so, you can go ahead and attempt to pass that exam. So it's a certification that tests you at a point in time. So it's assessment, if you will. ProFM is education that leads to designation. So you've got to go through the material. You've got to gain that knowledge, gain those skills, and then pass the final assessments with 70% or better. So very different in that you're required to take the ProFM course to finish the exam. So I'm getting a question about the online content. Can you print material from the online content? You cannot. So that content is available through an e-reader that's embedded in the site. But again, for an additional $50, you can get that optional print. And then I'm getting a question about the renewal fee for the program. That renewal fee will be $99, and that will be due every 3 years. And I'll take a couple more. We're kind of getting short on time here. There's a question coming to me about the final assessments. So how long does it take? So the knowledge exam. The final assessment is delivered in 2 parts. The knowledge exam is 75 multiple choice questions. You have a 90-minute time limit to take that. The application exam is 50 multiple choice questions, and you have 90 minutes to take that. And again, passing that at 70% or better allows you to get the ProFM credential. So then around the renewal fee, there's also a question about after I earn the ProFM, how do I maintain my credentials? That's a great question. So you're required over a 3-year period of time to earn 45 contact hours of continuing education related to the FM profession, or we term those renewal credits. For each renewal cycle. So for each 3-year period of time, you're required to get 45 credits of those 45 renewal credits. Those can be achieved in a number of different ways, those ways are you can go to NFMT conferences, you can you work in the profession, you run projects, you write, you speak. There's a number of ways in which you can get those. And I'm scanning questions as we go here. There's a question about how can I apply for the ProFM scholarships. So we've got a scholarship program out now, and that's available to you on the profmi.org site if you go to the scholarship link. Okay, so it's profmi.org. /scholarships, and that'll get you to those scholarship applications. So there's a scholarship available for students, there's a scholarship available for military, and there's a scholarship available for professionals. So those are an excellent way to get the ProFM. So please apply for that. And I've got one more that I'll take, and the question is about how long does it take to earn the ProFM. What we're seeing is a time of about 60 to 80 hours of time to get the ProFM. So if we didn't get to your question today, we will follow up directly within a few days. And what I'd like to do, again, on behalf of all of us here, thank you for joining our webinar today. I hope it's been a valuable use of your 30 minutes. And we look forward to welcoming you into the ProFM family here in the near future. So with that, have a great Wednesday afternoon, and thank you again for attending.